Hey, this is Matt Ertz, your Madison County Historian. We are still recording the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and how it has impacted local people, businesses, and communities. Today, we're really lucky to have Amber Neiss, a sixth grade teacher in the Madison Central School District. Thank you for joining us, Amber. Talk a little bit about, leading up to school closures. What was going on in the schools? What prep did you guys have? And when did you really start realizing this is going to happen? We got to get to work and figure out what we're going to do.
Well, it was all kind of a whirlwind, as with, I'm sure, everybody that you've talked to. I do know that leading up to this, my kids do current events once a week, and they had been talking about everything that had been going on in the world and had been asking, is it going to come to us? What are we going to do? So we kind of had anticipated a little bit of maybe we might be having to have a little bit of a pause for a little bit of time. We weren't really sure. So come March 13th, which was the day that everything kind of stopped, we had a meeting and we were told that the following Friday, we were going to use our superintendent conference day that we already had scheduled, and we were going to prepare for a possible closure for maybe a few weeks. So we had to kind of put that in our back pocket. So I kind of pushed away all of the plans that I had for the day and said, let me get my kids on the computer. Let me show them how to do email back and forth. Let me show them how to do a couple of basic reading websites that we might have to use having this upcome closure. And then by the end of the day, we had a faculty meeting that said we're closing until after spring break. So that was our kind of lead up. It was just a whirlwind, not really ever knowing until we were told finally that, yep, it's been decided we're closing down for a few weeks.
Okay, so you guys get that notice. Did you know immediately what was going to happen? Was it paper copies? Were the kids going home with computers, or was it like, hang on, we got to figure this all out?
Well, I did tell my principal that I had spent the entire day prepping all of the sixth graders with their Chromebooks, and we are fortunate, very fortunate, to be a one-to-one school district, so all of my sixth graders did have Chromebooks at the school. Now, prior to this, they were having to earn the responsibility and the opportunity to take their Chromebooks home. So not everybody was able to take them home. So by the end of the day, I was getting a phone call at about 2:30 from my principal saying, send them home, they're going to need them. So we packaged up everybody's Chromebook and they sent them home. And then we didn't know who would have internet capabilities at their house at that time. So what we were told to do by the end of the day on Friday was come back in. We had a couple of days, Monday and Tuesday, we were going to kind of scatter, bring the teachers in so we didn't all hog up the copy machine, which is kind of what it was for the first couple of days there. And then we're going to have parents pick up supplies on Wednesday. And that's what we did. We went in, we prepped out 3 weeks, and that was going to take us through spring break. So send everybody home a paper copy at that point because we weren't sure who had internet and who did not. So that would give us the flexibility to know that they had the paper materials in their hand with everybody having a folder. All the teachers went in, got a kid a folder, got them prepped out for 3 weeks, and then we went from there and just hoped for the best.
Okay. So as it kind of morphs on, they initially were 2-week intervals. We're talking, today is May 12th. Talk a little bit about going from 2-week intervals to the realization last week, or actually I think it's a week and a half ago now. Schools are going to stay closed the rest of the year. Does that make it easier? Does that make it harder? How did the students respond? Kind of that kind of stuff.
Well, I think it was a bunch of emotions. I think that knowing that we were actually going to stay closed kind of gave you at least a completion, and knowing that we were going to finish up like this, and knowing that also in that same regard is the fact that I still haven't talked to or heard from some of my students. So those are the ones that you, of course, always worry about, because teachers are not just the ones teaching your academic materials, they're also the ones doing the additional emotional, you name it. Did you have breakfast? How are things going? Your check-in points too. So I think that whole unsettling feeling of, yes, we know what we're doing now, and oh my gosh, I gotta see some of my kids and make sure that I can make contact with them and see how they're doing too.
Hi to the dogs. How have your students responded? Has it generally been a good thing? Has there been frustration? Is this something that if it goes into next year, is it going to get better?
Um, I would say that there's a handful of students who are feeling pretty confident with this new way of learning, and they have the support at home, and they know what to do, and they're organized, and they're right on the ball. And then there's a group in the middle that the parents are feeling um, frustrated and worried, and not knowing how they can help, because maybe they're working their job too, and they don't know how to best support their students and their children at home. And then there's the group of the ones that I was just talking about that I haven't been able to reach. But I feel like when we found out that we were going to be closed, it was the day that I was out making little deliveries to all of my students, a little goodie bag to kind of brighten their spirits. And it was good to see their faces and have some interaction from a safe distance, of course, and just check in with them, just to have a communication with them. And I told them that every couple of weeks, I'm just going to make a drive out to their house just to check on them and see how they're doing, and what do they need from me? What can I do to help them best and support their learning and their overall well-being too? So moving forward, I think that we'll have still that same group of people who are smooth sailing, people who are frustrated and really depend on us to be there for them, and then the group that, oh, well, we're not in school, it's like summer vacation. So I think that you have that whole mindset, I feel like, moving forward.
Talk a little bit about, are you guys currently talking about the next steps, not just the end of this year, but what it could be over the summer if there's summer school, and what it could be in the fall?
Well, I just had a meeting with my principal today, and we don't know. I feel like we're always on a waiting game just to see what are we told, what's next. We don't know. I feel like things are going to be different, and what that looks like, we don't know. Will there be some virtual learning? Maybe. Will there be everybody at a safe distance? Maybe. I feel like it's just always a waiting game for us right now. We talked about what's graduation going to look like. I mean, we're going to set something up. What that's going to look like is going to be totally new, but it's going to be new for everybody. So I feel like everybody's just going to take a step back, relax, breathe, and try to get through it together, because that's the best we can do right now.
And that's the truth. Everybody, it's not like it's new for one person. It's
Right.
us that are having this issue. Do you think that long term, this is going to, beyond the fact that every sixth grader from here on out will know how to wash their hands, do you think that this is going to have a long-term impact on how you guys teach?
I do. I think that there'll be a better bridge between technology and what we can do on a computer screen. But then I also think that it will be really important for educators and for students and for parents to realize the importance of that face-to-face contact with the students on a day-to-day basis.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to your fellow teachers, students, people in the Madison School District?
Of course, I would always say, take a deep breath, relax, we're in it together. I know that parents are feeling like they don't want to bother the teacher. Well, you're not a bother. This is what we do day in and day out. We're used to this. From a personal opinion, I'll tell you, I'd rather have all of my 38 sixth graders and teach them versus my one fourth grader who is on a daily struggle with her work, because I know I'm mom and not the teacher. But I feel like everybody's in the same boat. So we're all in it together. And I know that's kind of like the saying these days, but we are. And we just need to support each other and lean on each other when we need to. And we're all doing the best we can with what we've got.
I think you can't put it any better. Amber, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Hopefully we talk sometime down the road with much better circumstances. And please be safe.
You too. Thank you.